What is going on, you guys? My name is Rage and we are back today with another Morgan Le Fay video for you all. In today's video, we're going to go through her abilities, T4 recommendations, as well as discuss her potential Iso-8s that can be utilized for her abilities. So that being said, you guys, Pestilence event here, as you can see, 4 days, 20 hours remaining at the time of recording. So I hope you guys are progressing along and hopefully able to unlock her as a legendary horseman for this event. She's definitely proving to be quite powerful right now and I'm slowly building her up. Unfortunately, I did want to show you some gameplay footage, but I have my Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch here being quite more powerful than Morgan, so it wouldn't add value. Being said, you guys, let's go ahead and talk about each of her abilities, as well as T4 recommendations, as well as the Iso-8. Starting off with her basic ability, Soul Siphon. As you can see, she's going to attack the primary target for 300% damage, copying and clearing 2 positive effects, excluding the taunt. On the crit, however, this is actually going to be able to copy and clear all positive effects regardless. So really, you want to be able to crit with this ability, and this kind of gives us a hint as well and what the ISO could be. As well, on top of this attack, it's actually very powerful, stealing 5% health from the primary target and redistributing to herself. So I mean, this in itself is a very powerful already Dark Dimension ability if she's ever brought on, but you can see here with the T4 recommendation, the damage does go up and an additional 5% is tacked on top of this. So kind of similar to Omega Red's ability, where she is going to be able to strip that away and keep her health sustained, and she's going to be made viable even regardless if she doesn't have a healer on her team. So definitely I would recommend T4ing that basic ability, and just a very strong ability to start things off. Time Warp is her special ability. As you can see, she's actually going to reduce the speed bar for herself, all allies, and all enemies by 100%. Essentially reboots everyone's turn meter. As well, she's going to be clearing 2 positive effects from all enemies, clearing all negative effects from herself, healing herself for 100%, and as well as dealing 10% of her HP damage to all. So this is really going to shine when you have higher red stars on her. As well, on top of that, she's actually going to be able to apply speed up and immunity to herself and all Darkhold allies. So the difference between T4ing this ability is applying that speed up for 2 turns, and as well as clearing all positive effects, as opposed to just the 2 random. So I mean, that's really good overall. Again, another T4 recommendation, just because any chance you have an opportunity to actually strip away all positive effects from the enemies, and the 2 turns of speed up gives your entire team and the Darkhold respectively that turn meter advantage against them. So anytime you have that in this game, it's always going to be a lead and advantage against the enemies. Next up, Reality Break is her ultimate here, and as you can see, she's actually going to be clearing immunity from the primary target. She's going to be attacking primary and adjacent targets for 325% damage piercing, as well as having an extra 20% extra crit chance here. So on top of that, she's actually going to apply disruption and slow, and spreading all negatives from the primary target to adjacent targets. So this does not impact stun or ability block, so keep that in mind. It's a good one for spreading blind, offense down, defense down, but the big ones being stun and ability block won't actually spread. On top of that, she's also going to flip positive effects into negative effects on all non-controller enemies, so this is really going to target them quite significantly. Next up is also reducing all the speed bar of enemies that do not have negative effects. So either way, if they don't have negative effects, they're actually going to still get impacted by speed. So regardless, this is going to be a very, very powerful ability, especially with that piercing damage. As you can see, the big one for this one is to T4 recommendation here is really just increasing your crit chance. Additionally, applying trauma and ability block to all control enemies. So 100%, anytime you have a chance to actually increase the likelihood to apply trauma, which if you guys recall is the condition where enemies cannot able to cleanse or take away their negative effects, this is going to really leave a devastating impact on the enemy. So 100% another T4 recommendation. So right now she's straight across the board, and usually even with the passives, they're usually the best abilities as well. So Fey Queen is her passive here. On spawn, she's going to bury herself and Darkhold allies for 20% of her max health. She's going to be applying Safeguard for 2 turns to herself and Darkhold allies. Safeguard essentially means that any positive effects on the team cannot be stripped away, and they're going to be retained for 2 whole turns. So this is absolutely huge. If you recall in the Infinity Watch team, this is what makes them really shine at the beginning, because when they have all that Safeguard with immunity, no negative conditions can really touch them at the beginning. She's also going to increase the speed bar of 5% per mystic enemy, so that's really going to be factored against any mystic enemies that we face against, giving us that turn advantage once again. She also lowers the assist chance for all enemies by 25% per Darkhold ally, so any enemies that have those assisted attacks, it's not going to happen, especially if the Darkhold allies are grouped up together. She's going to gain max percent health, as you can see, as well as resistance increase, and this is what's notable in the arena meta for her team. It's the fact that they gain an extra 30% max barrier, and as well give them a significant bonus barrier at the very beginning. On top of that, by T4ing this ability, you can see here on every enemy turn, the speed bar, but it's going to actually go up by 10% for herself and Darkhold allies, as well as having an extra raw 30% gain max health. So I mean, this is absolutely no-brainer, must recommend here, just because of the fact that it gives them statistically a boost, and as well as the speed bar increase, which is an absolute must when we're facing up against enemies. So I mean, all across the board, you guys, one of the few characters, once again, where all the recommendations are must-have, and I would recommend it just because you can get her as powerful as possible, especially in preparation as one of the pieces for unlocking Apocalypse in the future. So that being said, guys, really two obvious Iso-8s do stick out to mind when I'm taking a look at her abilities overall, and it's Raider and the Striker. Raider is really good because you can see there's two of her abilities. I already kind of mentioned the crit percentage there and the fact that she actually has piercing damage on top of that. So Raider is going to increase her overall output, and as well as being able to grant vulnerability to increase the damage output if there's a striker on the team. And then where she can shine as a striker is just having duplicate attacks. So I mean, anytime her basic attack is being utilized, she also steals HP. So I mean, that can be a great opportunity to be utilized on top of any of her abilities. Both can't go wrong. It really depends on the team synergy, but personally, I'm gonna go Raider just because I do see the value of having her to crit, and as well as you mentioned earlier, the basic attack here, especially when on crit, she's actually going to be able to copy and clear all positive effects. So that's really going to give her a boatload of benefits when she least expects it as well. So there you guys have it. That's an overview of her kit. A very, very strong character overall. Hope you guys enjoyed that quick and brief review of her kit overall. Again, a very powerful character, you guys. Pestilence event is still ongoing for a few more days, so hopefully you guys can get her unlocked as well. And don't forget, even when you guys are done, you know, the rewards and the rankings, everyone bare minimum is going to get actually a 40 shard unlock. So keep that in mind when you're going through out here, so that way you can still unlock her even if you haven't immediately unlocked her through the milestones. Thanks, you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.